Alright, so, leaving Buffalo, I'm gonna go right here, just so I don't have to get on the interstate and you'll actually be able to hear me. Otherwise, we will be fucked. Anyways. I'm gonna wait for a spot where all these people can go. Alright. So, like I said, I'm gonna do a video on Harry Potter, and I am, so this is that video. I figure I would talk about a bunch of things. I don't know if you can see her back there, but that is the Zodiac. My list is gonna tear off if I don't hurry up, so I better get going. Anyways, I'm just gonna make a couple quick statements I thought about Harry Potter on each book, and then an overall. I'm not gonna do a description of it because everybody and their mother has read this, and I think you pretty much get the idea. And if you're gonna read it, you'll read it. If you're not, you're not. But like the first one I would say would be like it's a nice little one and done. Like it's like a Disney movie, you know. It has a villain, it has a good guy, you know, all this, you know, everything's separate. There's a little bit of a twist there. It's not too crazy. It's set up for kids. It's perfect, just perfect for a kid. I think I don't see any problem with having a kid read this. It shows friendship and all that stuff. You know, it's a good kid's book. Alright, so the second one, you know, pretty much along the same lines, a good kid's book and all that jazz. Women. She needs to learn how to drive. Anyways, the second book, what I didn't like was that the government was corrupt, like from the top to the bottom. And I'm not talking about like corrupt, like, you know, there's an obvious bad guy in the company. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like how Ron's dad like made a law so he could, or he like fiddled with the law so he could keep stuff that he wanted. You know, that's corruption. That's I don't like that. And that the level of corruption, like the more you learn about the little government, is like tells you more and more about how corrupt and overpowering and overreaching it is, and that just irritates the piss out of me. I'm just this really big into freedom, and this just pisses me off. Okay, it kind of takes me out of it. Although you're supposed to not like it, so maybe that's on purpose. The I can't read it because the thing. Hold on a second. Hold on. Intermission. Alright, anyways, so the third book, when they had they started talking about the tournament, the game that they play, the Quidditch, I understand it more after watching that. In a tournament setting, I can understand the game, okay, a lot better than I can just playing it. Otherwise, your goal should be either, you should have one or two goals, either to get the snitch like immediately, or stop the other people from getting the snitch for a long fucking time. That should be your two goals. One of the two. I mean, I know that, you know, any game can be summed up into one or two goals, but I just think that, you know, the game's okay. The game's okay. It's just me overthinking it. It's just a game. It's kids talking about it. They'll never play it. You know, these are just some thoughts that I had about the series, you know. But on to the next one. The book, I think the next one was The Goblet of Fire. The one they had the tournament. It was a nice, like, I don't want to say breath of fresh air. It was a nice, like, it's a happy, you know, had a nice struggle. It was, a lot of people liked this one. And I don't know what it is about it. It uplifts you, and once you get into it, and it's a lot more interesting. Maybe it's the tournament aspect of it, although it's just kind of in the back most of the time. But at the end, you know, the dude, and you're like, oh shit, you know. And yeah, I like when characters from like earlier on, stuff happens to them. Whether it be good or bad, it's just good storytelling to, you know, like implement a character from way before. But anyways, you know, these are just small thoughts I had on it. Let's see here, what I got on the next one, because I can't remember everything I thought about each one. I have to look to see what the next one was. Well, I can't even read that because it's ripped. So now I'm gonna have to go off script. I think the next one was Order of the Phoenix, if I remember correctly. That's one where he first gets a taste about what it be like to live with his godfather, and he's like, okay, you know, I'm kind of getting this idea, you know, and then that gets shot out of the water, and you know, I don't know, it's just like bad shit keeps happening to him over and over and over, and I could tell what that is, Alpha Gorilla. Bad shit keeps happening to him, and throughout the whole thing, people are like, you're just a child, you won't understand, and I get that they're supposed to connect with kids, and kids are always treated like kids, and they don't want to be treated like kids, and blah, blah, blah. But there's a point in here where he's arguing with an adult who is one of the good guy adults, and he's like, no, this is gonna happen, and they're like, no, it's not, that doesn't make any sense. And what he's saying is kind of like hysterical, on the edge. I mean, you know, if you're super paranoid, it makes sense, but he's talking kind of hysterically, and come to find out, he turns out to be right, and then that just justifies him, and that makes it sound like, you know, even if everybody's against you, you're probably still right, and I'm not sure I like that idea, being told to kids. I don't know, but whatever. Let's see, what's after that? I can't read it because it's all ripped in half. The last book, I think it kind of drug out in the beginning, like like it didn't have an aim, which might have been the purpose, you know, because it felt funny. Which might have been the purpose, because they didn't know where they were going, you know, they were just kind of like on the lam, and you know, and then it kind of like hones in, like they're just walking around aimlessly, and then they get a clue, and then they go there. Like, you know, reading it, I was like, oh, this is kind of just blah, but you know, I can see the strategy in the writing that, if that was true. If not, then you know, it happened anyway, and good on you for that. The ending ended how you'd expect it to, it being, you know, like a kid's series. I think if it was an adult series, Harry Potter would have died, you know, like he did, and then just stay dead. Like him dying would also killed Voldemort or something like that, and then it would have been just like the bookend to the series, you know, pun not intended, but like that's the way it should have went, you know, that's what it seemed like. But it didn't, you know, it had a nice little happy ending like a kid's book would. But whatever. I'm gonna get some gas and then. Alright. Got some gas. Now I won't die. Or the motor won't die. I could still die. It's possible. What was I saying? Harry Potter. Alright, overall, it's a great series. I think kids should read it. It teaches you friendship and loyalty and trust people older than you, because they kind of know what the fuck they're talking about. It teaches them, you know, all the things that you want them to learn. Also, like, towards the end, like, Harry doesn't trust his government, so I'm like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'm not like hey, the government's trying to kill everybody conspiracy theorist, you know, because it's going to sound that way when you hear this, but, you know, they're not flawless. They're run by people, and people are just like twisted and mangled individuals built of scars. So they do make a lot of flawed mistakes, you know, and all that. But anyways, I just think it's a good series. I'm glad I read it. Now I'll get to, you know, make like stupid little Harry Potter references to everything like everybody does now if I need to. And I probably will, just to be that kind of douche, because I can. But yeah, I would suggest anybody read it. It's not like I don't think it's a must read unless you just don't want to be a pariah in the community, but it's a great book. So yeah, peace out.